Sure. All right. All right, tonight we are talking about Ring's biological theory of ionization. For short, we call it RBTI. And coming September 6th, we're starting a course on this. Tonight is just a brief overview of what it's about. You know, you will learn what the numbers reveal and a little bit of how the theory came about. On the screen here, I have that it's often taught but seldom used because there are a lot of people out there teaching this, but I think the problem comes in where people are not actually using it is because you learn the numbers, what the numbers mean, but not actually how to put it together and see a picture of what is going on and on the inside of the body. So let's get started a little bit. Before we go into the numbers, I would like you to know a little bit about who Dr. Kerry Reams was. He was trained in mathematics, biophysics, and biochemistry, and he made many discoveries in the fields of human health, plant growth, energetics, animal health, and soil restoration. He began in agriculture, working with the soil to create a higher nutrient hay and, you know, the foods for the animals to increase milk production. And he started seeing that if he could do this with the animals, why couldn't he do this with people? So he taught for 5 decades everything that he knew about ionization. Throughout his research, Dr. Reams discovered that there was only 2 body fluids that were needed to show your body chemistry levels, and that was saliva and urine. If a person keeps his numbers in perfect health or healing range, it is believed that the human body will maintain health. He would often say that, you know, you look at a person and see the outside. Through his formula, you can see the inside of a person. And throughout 10 years of working with this, I've found that to be so true. So the effectiveness of creating health. By 1970, Dr. Reams had developed quite a reputation for being able to help people with their health and to teach the person to maintain their health, because he would actually start this testing and teach them how to build their health. He began working with the local hospital and medical staff. Dr. Reams offered to teach the medical doctors the testing procedure and how to adjust the individual's body chemistry back into health. However, the doctors declined, stating that they would rather send their patients to Dr. Reams to ensure that they would have the same health success as Dr. Reams' previous clients. So, between 1970 and 1971, the hospital doctors sent Dr. Reams 25,000 people. 10,000 of those were terminally ill. All but 5 walked away with renewed health. And it was after this time that the persecution began, because the AMA and the insurance companies started to take notice with this type of success rate. Dr. Reams believed that every household in the world should have use of this formula to maintain the highest level of health an individual possibly could have. He held many seminars teaching people as much as possible how to use this formula and how to use it to help others. You know, with this formula, you can actually calculate your reserve energy, or Dr. Reams knew how to do this. In 1985, he died. However, he had calculated his own reserve energy and knew the exact date and time that his body would run out of energy. 2 weeks before he passed, he began calling his family, friends, and colleagues to say goodbye. I mean, is that amazing or what?
Big time.
Is everyone still with me?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Well, big time amazing, yes.
I'm here. I just have it on mute because
Oh,
there's
okay.
more people in the house.
All right. I'm just, feel like I'm talking to myself here.
Sorry.
We're just listening.
Okay. Well, now you know a little bit about who Dr. Carrie Reams was. Now I would like to go into what these numbers actually, what they are and what you can see by running these numbers. And remember, we're working with urine and saliva. All right. The standard medical system, what they are looking for, they are diagnosing disease. There is nothing out there that pinpoints what health is. So in order to work towards health, it seems you would need to know where that perfect health is. And that's what this formula is all about. We are not looking for disease in any way. We are looking for health. And that makes it so much simpler. So the formula to perfect health. We need you to know that there is a perfect diet for humans to eat depending on their body chemistry. There's a perfect combination of minerals that make up the human body. And there's a perfect mathematical equation that identifies health. And there is also a simple analysis of the urine and saliva that will reveal this body chemistry. So what does Reams testing reveal? It determines calcium levels for your body, not the RDA. It tells what you are digesting or not digesting. It tells if you are assimilating nutrients, shows vitamin mineral deficiencies, blood sugar, high, low, normal. Will show if the body is supporting excess parasites or yeast. Indicates if there is excess stress on internal organs such as kidney, heart, colon, gallbladder, lungs. It gives the health level of the liver, pancreas, and gallbladder. It reveals if the body's environment may be supporting circulatory problems, high blood pressure, arthritis, high cholesterol, kidney and gallstones. So, it tells what is going on inside the body. And you can see this through the numbers on your page. Building the human body. Dr. Reams discovered that cells are built by a process of electroplating instead of the still prevailing concept that cells endlessly divide. Does everyone know what electroplating is, or the concept of it?
No.
No.
Okay.
No.
Electroplating is that you have a magnetic draw and that nutrients are pulled into the cell and the cell is built by these nutrients or ions being pulled in. And this is at the atomic level. And it goes on up to the structure. A cell doesn't just magically pop out another cell. They're not like having babies here. We are building each individual cell. So that's what we are looking at. And you build a cell with your proteins, amino acids, your minerals, your vitamins. Now we're getting into what these numbers are. So let me explain a little bit up here. Can everyone see my cursor moving around?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. The Brix number, that is your sugar level, but we call it Brix because we use a Brix meter. The perfect number for that is 1.5. Then we will be measuring the urine saliva pH. The perfect pH for urine and saliva is 6.40. Then we have our conductivity or salts number. The perfect number for that is 6 to 7 C. Now the C number, that was a Dr. Reams calculated formula, and we will get into that in the course, but that is the perfect salts number or mineral levels in the body. The albumin, that is the cell debris. That tells if the body's getting rid of its excess old cells and building new cells, the kidney function and so forth. Then we have our nitrogen and ammonium level, and that tells protein in, protein out, and exactly how these cells are being built. Back to the electroplating, Dr. Reams found that the human body requires 84 of 106 elements, and those 84 elements are needed to electroplate to create a cell. once that cell or the electroplating is not taking place and that cell demineralizes, that is where all disease starts. So it doesn't matter what the name of the disease is, and we'll get into that in just a few minutes. So those are our perfect numbers, and we'll go into that in detail in a little bit. This is a Reams chart. So this is what you are actually looking at. This is your efficiency range. You'll see that it's from A to E. And range A is health. You see green all the way across. Then you have your Brix numbers, your urine and saliva pH, conductivity, albumin, nitrate, and ammonium right here. As long as we can keep the body chemistry within range A, that is health. No disease can take place within a health range. It is only once these numbers start going outside of range A that you start to develop disease or disorder processes. So the main thing here is keep the body in the healthy range. You know, once outside, you know you're working on something you do not want. So let's talk about the individual numbers. Here we have the sugar Brix number, and 1.5 is where we want to be. The sugar Brix will let us know our ability to memorize the body's brain function, energy levels, our insulin levels, alcohol levels, and that doesn't mean that you are actually putting alcohol in the body. You could have a high sugar Brix reading and it would create the effect as if you were drinking alcohol. Okay?
Like eating bread, right?
Yes, I mean if you would eat a lot of white bread, the sugar Brix would raise and you would become a little loopy.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
Well, that's interesting.
mm-hmm.
All those years, huh?
Yeah, and that has with mood swings too, high and low blood sugar. Once the blood sugar goes high and the pancreas is functioning properly, you have an insulin response, the sugar drops down. So you have those mood swings. You have dizziness, headaches, motion sickness. It's a body temperature indicator. And I think would be interesting for most people. The sugar Brix number could go so low that you would have a need for sweeteners. And we would look into the diet of that individual to determine if they would need a sweetener in their lemon drinks. The next number is our urine saliva pH. What this determines is the speed of digestion. You could have too fast or too slow digestion. If it's too slow, food just sits there and bacteria forms and starts to ferment. If it's too fast, you do not get the vitamins, minerals, amino acids from the foods you just ate. It also determines cationic and anionic dominance. Those are terms used in Reams testing, but basically it means cationic is acidic, anionic is alkaline. This also determines your calcium levels, or lack thereof, the types of calciums needed. Many people do not realize we have several calciums, and the calcium type will push the pH one way or another. So let's just say we have someone with a very acid pH. Say they have a pH of 5.0, and you were to give them calcium lactate or calcium phosphate, they would go severely acid. You would make that person worse by giving them the wrong type of calcium. So knowing the pH level and the types of calciums, you would know which one that individual body chemistry would need. And I think that has a lot to do with the increase in osteoporosis these days. You know, they're recommending calcium and mostly calcium citrate, which is only slightly alkalizing. All right, in this level, the pH, it also determines your fungal levels, viral levels, your oxidation or reduction, so whether the cells are building or whether they're oxidizing, rotting or rusting, basically. The need for B12, tissue thickness, liver strength, and your line of resistance. The line of resistance will tell you how and where the body is building cells or breaking them down. So now we have conductivity. Conductivity, like I said before, is our salt number, and that would determine our fluid balance, the ionization levels, osmotic pressure, electrical levels. This would have a lot to do with the heart, because the heart relies on electrolytes or minerals for its proper electrical readings. It would also have a lot to do with our nerves and heat loss and muscles, blood vessels. Albumin, this is the cells, whether our body is holding on to dead cells or getting rid of them. So it could determine the kidney stress. If the body's holding on to those cells, then the kidneys are becoming bogged down with these excess cells. It also tells us to what degree the body is cooperating with its own healing processes, because the body has to get rid of old cells and make new cells. So if the old cells aren't going anywhere, everything becomes hampered. It determines your energy loss, a need for vitamin A, C, or E, your proper mineral levels, whether they're low, stagnant, or too high. We could have too high of minerals. A lot of times you would take especially the synthetic minerals that are out there, and the body cannot use it. It would have to store it. You would see a high level of minerals and things such as arthritis, stiff joints. The albumin level would also tell you the proper water to consume and what type of water, whether you would use spring water or distilled water. So, this type of testing actually determines what type of water that person needs to be using.
Is it a blood test?
No, this is using urine and saliva. That's the only two things you're using here.
Okay.
Now we have the nitrate and ammonium. This determines your heart stress, nitrogen toxicity, which could, when the nitrogen goes too high, it could put excess stress on the heart, and you could see there is a heart attack zone in that area, so you would really want to keep a good eye on what's going on there. It's protein in and protein out. Basically, the nitrogen nitrate number is the protein that the person is consuming or breaking down, and the protein out is the ammonium number. So you have the total ureas, which is both numbers added together, and then you have them separately to look at, so you can tell if the person is eating enough protein and if they are getting rid of that protein. Because if the ammonium number, protein out number, is not at least equal to the protein in, then that will cause heart stress. So, you're looking at the entire body chemistry here. This number also determines your potassium deficiency and at the proper healing range. I think I've already passed that on. I don't know if I have it on here again, but the range A, you have a proper healing range to keep the nitrogen and ammonium numbers in while you are working with all the other numbers. So I still have everybody with me?
You do.
Well,
You got me.
yeah.
I'm here too.
Okay.
You got my attention.
Now we are moving on, and this is what a lot of people find fascinating, and I think that, some of us could get in trouble by doing this, but we have an energy loss and destruction. By looking at the pH average, the nitrogen and ammonium, and also the bricks, we can determine exactly where on the body the destruction and energy loss is taking place. We have energy loss taking place right here. You will have destruction in the lung area. So you can actually take these numbers and tell where at, how far back, and on what side destruction and energy loss is taking place. And the person will have symptoms wherever the energy loss is. So let's say the energy loss is in the lung area, so they would, have trouble breathing, shortness of breath, but actually the problem is down here in the colon area or perhaps the hip. And depending on where the bricks is, it could be back in the kidney area. So, this really pinpoints what is going on in the body.
And how do we know what area of the body it is? By the numbers?
By the numbers. You are looking only at the numbers. So it would be whatever the pH average numbers are. You would look at the nitrogen and ammonium number, and then you would look at the Brix number and tell exactly what's going on and where.
Now,
Oh,
Hey, Wanda, I'll tell them one experience I had. I texted Dr. Seitz 6 numbers. That's all. I didn't tell her anything else, just 6 numbers. What can you tell me? I'm kind of stumped. And she sends me back after about 60 seconds. She sent me back a text. The destruction is in the upper left lung. Well, as it turned out, this woman had breathing problems for years, and she even had a breathing apparatus in her throat, and she'd been sick for like 10 years. And anyway, it was just, I had muscle tested her right before Wanda had texted me, and we, everything measured up and agreed, and she got that from the 6 numbers. I mean, and it worked out perfectly. She got on the Good Herbs lung, the respiratory kit, and some other specific breathing programs, and she's doing at least 50% better than she's done in her life.
wow, that's good.
Yeah. These
Because we
numbers,
narrowed down to where it was.
I'm hearing a lot of good stuff here, but all this stuff about the nitrogen, ammonium. I know the pH. They got these strips you put on your tongue or urine, but everything here is all taken from saliva or urine.
yes,
Okay, thank you.
yes.
I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you're
Using equipment.
you use equipment. Now the pH strips, they are not temperature compensated. They're good enough to get you in the ballpark, but you could not use those to do this type testing with. You would need a pH meter. You would need proper equipment to do this type of testing.
Okay.
Now, would you test the pH like you would do on like you explained on doing the strips? Would you do this particular testing 2 hours after lunch or what?
That is the best time to do this type of testing, is 2 hours after lunch. But when you have all of these 7 numbers, you can tell the pattern that person is in. Now the numbers may change, but the pattern will not. So, I have tested people in the morning because, like I said, their pattern doesn't change unless they actually do something to change it. And most people are stuck in bad health, and they just keep doing what they're doing. Yeah, so, yesterday or all week I've ate at McDonald's, but today I'm going to eat salads. That doesn't change a lot.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they
Yep.
would need to work on their health before their pattern changes. But the best
So
time
you gotta change your whole diet. I mean,
yes. And,
herbs.
I'm a
I'm
nutritionist.
sorry.
I'm a nutritionist, so I really like using foods, and that is what this type of testing, what drew me to it also, because we take a look at their diet. You can put people on supplements,
Sure.
yes, but without changing the diet, you're going nowhere.
Nowhere. Nope. I agree with that. Go to McDonald's and then try and be healthy with other things. You're killing yourself anyway, so
Now, we're going
I'm sorry.
No, you're fine, Larry. We're
Okay.
going to take a look at a certain set of numbers, okay? And, all these numbers up here, we know that the perfect range is in this range A, but this is actual set of numbers. And a lot of us are iridologists, so we can take a good look at this eye, and you can see that the numbers tell us exactly what's going on here. We have a Brix number of a 0.9. That is low. And I have this person charted out with the black here, so you can tell that their sugar is low. The urine pH, that's a little high. The saliva is a 588. That is creating a lot of gas going on in this person. Conductivity is high, so we know that this person, what we call is salting out. They have some arthritis type issues going on there. They're not drinking enough water. The albumin is a 4M. They're not getting rid of dead cells, so there's some kidney issues going on.
So they don't have anything within the right range.
No, they do not. And most
the albumin, I see the 4M, but in the green section, what should the number be?
it should be a 4M, okay? But
Okay.
when we get into, actually, this is just an overview of these numbers. You would want the albumin will go high and then come back down while the other numbers are out of range. Once you have the Brix number, both your pH numbers, and conductivity in the right range, the albumin will start to come down because the body has cleansed itself. It has gotten rid of all of the dead cells that have built up. And then the last numbers to come down will be your nitrogen and ammonium numbers.
May I ask you a question, because I'm a little bit familiar with iridology?
Okay.
A little bit, very little bit. But where in the eye would it show like the condition D under Brix 0.9?
Well, actually, you would look at you would see the adrenals, the large pupil here.
Uh-huh.
And maybe Betty Sue can help me out with if I have to get my chart out. Can you pick out the adrenal real quick, Betty Sue?
I don't want to put you on this,
No, you're fine. We have an expert in the house.
Okay.
There are a couple of things, but one is the color orange is the color of the pancreas. So when you see those orangey places around this iris, it's pancreas. The other thing is the adrenals are straight down at 6 o'clock. So you see that sort of hazy brown area
Right
down there? Yeah, that looks discolored. Yep. That's where the adrenals are. And then also the pancreas is all along all of those little Dr. Sykes from like 4 o'clock to 8 o'clock, all those places along the collarette, all of those are all pancreas. So
that's a bad thing?
It's not good or bad, but it just means that there is a weakness there,
Okay.
that needs to be built up.
Okay, that's what I meant.
Yeah. And that's why the sugar Brix number is low.
Yeah.
That's very interesting.
And there's also toxins going down into the adrenal area too. Going down at about 6 o'clock too.
Well, adrenal does not that. That does have something to do with blood pressure and stuff like that too, doesn't it?
I wonder if I can go back since we're talking about this. That's okay.
I'm sorry if I'm.
No.
I had high blood pressure once, and I'm still on medication for it, but it went way down and stuff. And I don't like taking the medication. That's why I guess I'm interested in that.
From the numbers, the sugar Brix is low, the energy is low, the conductivity is high. So, with this person, that could be, the electrolytes are too high. They're not drinking enough water. The nitrogen is a 13 over a 5, so there is heart stress.
Oh, brother.
You could really study these numbers and pull out everything. I'm just trying to give you an overview of what's going on because we don't know exactly, this person, but we can see from their numbers what's going on with them.
You got a darn good idea, huh?
And here's another set of numbers. We have, here again on our chart, we would always chart it out. You have a Brix of 1, which is low. You have a 7.1 urine pH and a 7.1 saliva pH. Now, a lot of people say, well, the higher the better on the pH. That is not good at all. You have very low conductivity. The minerals are low. The pancreas isn't working. 4M, that's not bad. And then you have a 8 over 5. That's not too bad there. But you see this person is in a very low range. The energy is low and minerals are low.
Yeah.
And they cannot digest anything going on. They would probably have a lot of allergies and weak. They would be very weak.
Wow.
The nitrogen and ammonium, you would get them by adding them up?
That would be
Is that how it
called,
goes to 13?
no, the nitrogen is a number you look at separately. The ammonium is the number you look at separately. To
Okay.
get your total ureas, you would add them together.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So on this person, the 7 and the 9, their total ureas are a 16. So you would chart it on the chart, totaled together, but you would look at them separately
Oh, okay.
also. Because the nitrogen's protein in, the ammonium protein out.
Hmm.
And this number here, I mean, this is a high blood sugar. Very low urine pH, very high saliva, the conductivity of 40. They're in heart stress zone right there.
Oh.
Yeah, but the Brix number, they're eating too much sugar. You know, the body doesn't have usable oxygen.
Because of the sugar?
Because of the sugar, yes.
Yeah. I have a granddaughter with diabetes, and
Well, this could help her a
Okay.
lot. I like this chart. This is Dr. Tennant's chart, and although I don't agree exactly with the saliva pH on here, I like the cell voltage number over here because in the course we would get into this a little bit, the millivolt reading, and that would tell us about the cell's voltage and how that is working with the saliva pH and the albumin and all of that. This is just I love this chart, you know, because it tells the virus zones, cancer, normal healing, where you would have a dull headache, tired, sick, or organ failure. I mean, this is just a really, really good chart. And you will notice that he did find cancer at a positive 30 millivolt in the cells. And with this equipment, you can actually, you know, go into that depth with reading what's going on. You know, although we are not wanting to use this as a diagnostic tool, we are not diagnosing disease. We are looking for health, which is not illegal at all.
Nope, nope.
You know, when people start using it in the wrong way and start looking for diseases, then, you know, that's not the right way to look at this. We don't care what the disease name is. All we care about is getting that person back to range A, which is health.
And the body will take care of it.
Exactly.
Yep.
You know,
What exactly is the cell voltage? What does that mean?
that is going down to the electrons and protons in the body, and we need, within the cell, we have a proton gradient grid, and we need a certain amount of electrons to attach and to keep that process going. That is how we attain the ATP. Most people know that as energy produced by the cell. So
Oh, okay.
we need a certain amount of negative electrons and positive protons in the body. And that is really, really getting down at the microscopic level. But you can use the millivolt reading to see about what is going on there. And the millivolt meter is not a part of Ream's testing, but I do use that with my testing, so I have included that in the course. So that would be a little advanced, but it would be something you could use to just get a little bit more understanding of what's going on with yourself, family, or clients. All right. This is where we are getting into, we have our minerals. We have our musical notes, our octaves, and we have our white light. Actually, the human body is nothing more than congealed light. Without minerals and the light shining or reflecting those minerals, we would be transparent. And you could see this when you see older people don't they start to lose their tone to their skin?
Yep.
That they're losing minerals. So, I mean, you can actually see the body lose minerals in older people, especially in nursing homes. I mean, it's just really sad to walk through a nursing home.
I've been there. It's sad. Yes,
Yes.
I've seen it.
So, you can look at a person's skin tone to see their mineral level. And once you start using this system, I can look at a person and tell whether they're too alkaline or too acid and where. You can just start to see these things in people. And that concludes for tonight. So do we have any questions?
I have one.
Okay.
When you just, this is just out of curiosity, or they might be wondering, like when you measure the cell voltage, how do you do that?
With a millivolt meter.
Okay. And so you actually put the millivolt meter in the fluids?
Yes. Yes. You would get a millivolt meter, or some people call it an ORP meter. And you would put that in the urine and in the saliva.
Mm-hmm.
And it does all that. I mean, it kind of takes all these numbers and gives you an answer.
What the meters would. Maybe I need to go and show you the meters.
The meters, yes.
Yeah, that's
Let
a
me
good
go there real
idea.
quick. Let me go to the website, and then you can see I think I have the pictures of the meters. Maybe I just have a list.
So, once you have the numbers, what next? Would we really recommend something for them, or
Yes, this is
have them see it?
this testing. It takes about 10 to 15 minutes, beginning to end. You come back, you have these numbers in front of the client. You talk to them. You recommend a diet, any supplements that you feel you need to add to that. I try not to go over 5 supplements for anyone, because we shouldn't live off pills. We live off food. So we need to teach them how to eat correctly.
Okay.
So this is all done. My consultations usually take an hour, hour and a half, beginning to end. I know nothing when they first walk in the door, and I know everything about them when they leave. Here we go. Let's see. Can't get this to come up real.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
And the great thing about this also is they cannot lie to you. I'll come back to the table and I'll ask them, okay, where's the sugar coming from? They say, oh, I don't eat sugar. And I'm like, okay. And that's fine. All right. I do not have the pictures of the meters, but this is the price list of what the meters cost and exactly what meters you should get. This is your pH meter, your solutions, the conductivity meter. I do have pictures of the meters in my course. Yeah, this is on the website there.
Now, can somebody that takes the course, buys the meters?
Yes, you would need to buy the equipment.
Do this for a living to help people?
Yes, that's what I do, and Dr. Betty, she also uses this.
But then after that, you're basically... Okay.
Do we need the equipment before starting the course?
It would be ideal, yes, because that's the first thing that you will learn.
I personally would want to start the course first, so I know what I was talking about.
Well, the first thing you would learn is how to actually get the numbers, which is...
You wouldn't, Wanda, if money...
Okay, I think I'm having internet trouble.
Well, in the course, I'm assuming. This is really some high-tech.
Yeah.
This is some good high-tech stuff. I mean, I've never seen this before, and I think it's a real good way of analyzing a person's health.
You know, actually, Larry, what's weird about too, what people are doing, CAT scans and, you know, all of the things that we're subjecting ourselves to, you know, when you just take two fluids out of the body and you analyze them and you get your numbers and you can, if you, like what Dr. Wanda has taught me, when you can get your numbers in that A range or AB range, your
Yes.
disease process is not going to progress. Well, how great is that? It gives you time to get well.
Oh, definitely.
And we can get them there when we have the numbers because we know how many minerals to give them, how much calcium, how much magnesium, how to fix the pH. And once you know that, it gives you a tool that supports your iridology or, you know, your reflexology or whatever your mode is. It's a secondary or a first line that, you know, just gives you information. And then as a naturopath, you have time to work with that person. They're not going to be in dead or in chemo or radiation or whatever, hopefully.
Yeah.
And you have, you know what I mean? So it's really getting back to what makes sense, I think.
Well, can I tell you something about my mother? She was a very strong farm woman. I grew up in Chicago, but they came from the farm. And she was a very healthy farm woman. And then she started working in the factory, and she liked the food what I call the roach coach. I don't know if any of you have ever heard that saying.
What's that?
Well, it's a little truck that comes by with heated up, and then who knows how long it was heated up.
I'm almost done.
Heated up sandwiches and heated up sweet rolls, and she would go out there every day and get something out of the roach coach. That's what we called it as young people. And 2 years later, she died of cancer. And this was just a fast, easy way to get something during break time at lunch in the factory. Where in the farm, she was eating fresh stuff, etc. And then when she moved to Chicago, she was eating stuff from this roach coach.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot to do with what you eat. You are what you eat.
And not to mention, she probably got real lethargic after she got off work, too.
Well, I could see her
Not
getting
as
weaker and
active.
weaker.
Not
I'm
as
sorry, were you
active.
talking to me?
Yeah, I just said she probably just wasn't as active as she usually was, you know.
Well, no. She started getting a little heavier because it was junk food, you know, and
Yep.
it was warmed up, who knows, maybe from the day before, and they just warmed it up the next day again, you know, and it was actually worse than McDonald's and stuff, but that was a fast way to fill up your appetite, you know, for, I don't know, I don't even know why I brought that up, but I always thought of that, and that was back in the 70s, and that's what also made me interested in this this way of life, you know.
Well,
They'll sell you anything to eat, you know.
I was able to find in my in the course the picture of, you know, this is a picture of the Brix meter, then we have our pH meter, the conductivity meter, then our universal extract solution, nitrogen solution, and our ammonium solution, your urea color charts, a well plate, and a spray bottle. You would need your pipettes and a wash tray. That's about it. So, you know, the first thing we would learn is to get the numbers.
Yeah.
And then you would go
See
on
where
to
they're
learn.
at.
Well, once you have the numbers, then what? You need to know what these numbers mean and what to do. And like I said at the
Definitely.
beginning, there are a lot of people who have been taught this system, but I think the problem lies where they are not taught what to do with them. Okay, now we have the numbers, now what? You have to know what to do with it.
Exactly. Oh, yeah.
So that's what you will learn in this course.
The webinars are Mondays?
Yes, we are, well, for the RBTI course, we will have the webinars on Tuesday night at 8 o'clock.
Okay. Tuesday night at 8.
Yes, it will be for 11 weeks at Tuesday night, and that does cross into Thanksgiving. I think if I had my calendar, I could look, but I think we're not going to do it that Tuesday of Thanksgiving week. We'll take a break there.
Okay.
Well, even teachers need a break, I think.
Well, I just figure, a lot of people go out of town on Thanksgiving week, and they need to be
Sure.
with their family, so.
Exactly. So after this, you're certified in this? Is that how it works?
Yes, you would get a certificate of completion.
And then, like I was talking to you earlier, then after that, you could actually go out and, well, I don't want to say be a doctor, but I think this is actually better than being a doctor, because every time I went to a doctor, they just check your blood pressure and give you some medication for something you don't need. That's how I see it. But
Well, I
this
think
is,
this falls into the realm of nutritionists would use this, because
Yeah.
you are wanting to look at a person's exact chemistry and know exactly what to do for them.
definitely.
Dr. Reen's
'Cause
always
we're all
said,
different. Yeah.
Dr. Reen's always said, why guess when you can be sure?
It's very interesting. I really like it.
Makes sense to me.
I'm actually overwhelmed with this because it's like opened my eyes to a new thing here.
Right. Well,
And Dr. Seitz, what book will they be using? Are they going to be provided a book?
yes, all you would need to buy is your equipment. Everything else is provided in the course.
Oh, okay.
Yep, no additional books.
Okay.
And did you also tell me when we were talking about it, I think you said that you would offer, as the students were finding numbers with themselves or others, that you would, let the class help with the numbers or analyze the numbers, that kind of thing?
Yes, I think it is important. Like I said, we need to have people working with the numbers. So we will do case studies throughout.
Oh, okay.
I will start you out with a certain set of numbers, and we will go through and examine these numbers. What exactly is going on with this person? Because just seeing a set of numbers, that means nothing. You need to know what to do with them.
What they mean. Yeah.
What they mean, and more importantly, why. Why are the numbers like that? So yeah, we're going to do, actually I have the course set up, I believe we have 4 weeks of case studies.
Oh, wow, that's good.
Yeah, because really, I mean, this is years. You will be learning more and more about this for 10, 20 years, the more you work with clients, but we really need at least 100 numbers to go through. So with each person getting 2 or 3 sets of numbers per week, I mean, we should get through that in 4 weeks.
Yes.
And you
Dr. Seitz, can I tell him one more thing?
sure.
I had this client, and he went to the doctor, and they had taken off part of his ear, and they told him that he had 3 weeks to live if he didn't.
I'm sorry. Did you say part of his ear?
Yes, because he had a melanoma,
Oh,
and they
okay.
told him that he had 3 weeks to 3 months to live if he didn't do radiation therapy and chemo immediately, like starting that day.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't do it. He came over here after he had had a PET scan, and his sugars were off the chart. Of course, that's when I told him, I said, well, that's because they gave you radioactive sugar, to do the test, because cancer loves sugar. But anyway, I took his numbers, and then I was so worried about him, and I called Dr. Seitz, and she said, well, get his ORP reading. So I had a meter, and I got his ORP reading, and we calculated things, and she said, well, he's really not that far gone. We looked at the numbers, looked at what it all would mean. This is sort of beyond Reed's work, I guess. But anyway, and I did, the calcium, the aquaactive. Basically he didn't go overboard on any weird diets or anything. And I talked to him yesterday. This has been at least 6 or 8 months ago. And he answers the phone. I'm like, hey, and he goes, hey, good looking, how are you doing? And he's doing great, fabulous, very much alive, 74-year-old man, having a great time. He doesn't have a thing wrong with him.
No, wow.
And he would be dead, I promise you, without rings.
Yeah.
Well, ladies, I'll tell you something I've learned 5 years in the health chat room. There's young people coming in there with diabetes, all the old people's diseases, and it's all because of what they're eating. Processed junk food, stuff like that. And that's what got me interested in this 5 years ago. And now this is a totally new, to me, modern technology, but I know it's not, but to me it is. It's unbelievable. I mean, it sounds great. If you can go and help somebody like this, and you got to get paid for it, I'm sure. That would be such a wonderful occupation to have for you. Make a decent living and help people without all the other BS with the, I don't even know if I should say it, but modern medicine that's giving people antibiotics, et cetera, et cetera.